Okay, you are going to start with the fluffiest blanket or 2 or 3 blankets that you have, because essentially you want a stack of blankets that's about that thick. This is a super soft multi-folded blanket that you can see here that is very, very, very nice and thick. I actually have it over a nursing boppy. You want the one that has the C shape, that has the empty hole in it, because you want it to kind of look like this. Apparently everything I own is gray, but here is a bath towel that I have long rolled up like this. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm also going to shape it like a little bit of a curve. You're gonna hear my husband and babies in the background playing. What you are gonna do is you're gonna take this towel and you're actually going to prop it underneath the boppy pillow so that you have a huge tilt. And what you can do is you can see where you're going to have that huge divot that goes down from the side. Very thick. If for any reason if during the course of this pose that you find that when the baby's arms are here or here and the baby starts kind of shrinking down, what you need to do is you still need to lift the entire prop up. You can use something like paper towel roll or anything that you have lying around, like one of these bricks that are for playing, a book, a nice thick book that you can just kind of, what you're going to do is you're going to do that same padding, rocking technique that you were doing before, but this time legs are dangling. What diaper can be worn. What you're gonna do is you're gonna do that same thing where you slightly get one hand under, and then actually what you wanna do is you wanna get the second hand under. So you can kind of see I am doing most of the supporting of the weight with just one hand at this point. If you are uncomfortable, put the second hand underneath. Your positioning from the baby will kind of look like this. The hands are going to be coming forward. Don't worry too much about how perfect they are. But what you want to do is if the baby is still face down like this, you want to gently start rolling his head and continuing him to kind of look more up straight at your eyes. Sorry for the not perfect light, but I think you'll still get the idea. Basically what you're going to do is as you're holding this, again, you're using your top finger to hold the head in place to create neck stability. You're doing some padding with the other fingers. And the fingers on the outside, your middle finger and your thumb are actually going to be keeping the hands in place. What you're going to be doing, and part of the reason that you really want to make sure that this hand is stable, you can lean back if you can't get him in position. Exactly, you're going to have this hand here, but you do want to make sure that you're holding the baby with one hand as much as possible or supporting as much as possible. Because what you need to do is need to be able to transition from here to here. You need to be able to hold the head against your chest at the same time as lifting up the little back. Now, newborns are very, very, very flexible. If he is not sleepy, this should still be doable. If he is sleepy, it's super easy. But if you need a second hand to have somebody help you do this or to help support you while you lean back so you can do this, definitely use it. Okay, so just to kind of show you how I'm doing this at home, I'm using a wrinkly one that has stripes on it so you can kind of see the direction of where things are going and have texture so it's not all blown out. But basically, I use masking tape to keep, why not? It's what you have at home. You can do it. And it generally won't hurt anything as long as you're not putting it to something super sensitive. Really works great on fabric without ruining anything. We'll tape the edges down so that when the baby does go in place, all of this will not wrinkle. You want to press down in this little hole. It's going to feel like it might even be separated from the pillow and blankets underneath. That's totally fine. But really what you want to do is you want to make sure that this is almost a 45-degree angle underneath the show blanket. So as you're taking the baby off of your chest and lifting from the butt up, you can also have somebody help you with this situation to be another person of support. You're going to drag the feet so that they stay behind. And what you're going to do is you are going to have the butt and the feet down at the lowest point, and you're going to come forward, dragging the baby forward until you get to the top of the little mountain hill that you made right here. Once you're in this position, even if his face is not being perfect, you kind of do the face at the last point. What you need to do now are the arms. Now, this subject is very cooperative and keeps his arms in a really nice place. But what you want to do is you want to go underneath the head with your 2 main fingers. Again, I'm still supporting the neck with my back fingers. What you want to do is you want to take the cheekbones underneath the jaw with the 2 fingers, and you're going to take your thumbs and bend so that the hands go tucked underneath the chin. Again, very important to go underneath the chin so that the face doesn't go too smushy face down. Again, I'm going to show you that. Let's see if I can do that a little bit better. So what you're going to do is hands are kind of forward or out. Maybe they're like this. What you do is you put both fingers underneath the chin and bend with those same fingers, because now your knuckles are sort of underneath the jawbone, and you're going to take your fingers and your thumbs to push the hands into a folded elbow underneath the chin position. If he is still too smushy and his face is more pressed down or to the side and you really want to get the head up, you can either put the whole pose, again, now what you're going to do is you would support this position with your hands, have somebody else help you slide the baby back if you're uncomfortable doing it yourself. Again, again, I can hold this whole baby from this position. Again, use only temple areas for the skull bone so that you're not pressing it into any soft spots, but you are positioning underneath the fingers and the hands, supporting the neck as I'm pressing the neck back. And then what you do is you just slide the baby back down so that his head is more upright, or you can use something else to go underneath and lift the whole thing up. Now this is where you want to actually go underneath the blanket, not underneath the pillow, because you want to make sure that it really rises up here. And you don't have to worry about the edge of the blanket because you're not getting much of the blanket showing, so it just needs to cover just enough. A lot of times when I'm doing this pose, I will overcross the arms and elbows or just the hands in order to keep the face and the neck more supported, so there's less prone to wiggling. You can kind of see, again, I have my finger is on top of the hands and underneath the chin, and I'm actually pressing on the wrist with my thumb here, because then that way I have the rest of the hands on the back of the neck. But I can do a lot of wiggling here. But again, if he is getting to a point where he's going smushy again, I can lift up with my one finger underneath the jaw. So the last thing that you need to do is a blanket check. Now, when you have somebody else helping you, this is easier because they can do a blanket check while you're doing the final positioning. As you can see, as I was doing this pose, the blanket started bowing in the back, and this would create a really big shadow and not look professional. So what you want to do is you want to stretch that background up, or have somebody hold the sides to help stretch out the front. So the key with this pose is that you either need to zoom in and come down to the level, so you might need to shoot lower or higher depending on where the eyes are, because you really want the eyes to be the center of the frame. But again, if you have a baby that likes to go one side or the other, that's also fine too, because sideways. Once you have successfully gotten the pose that you like and is really cute and adorable and photographed, you're going to do a transition. You are going to drop the sweep that you just had in the back, and what you're going to do is you're gently going to be removing these things that are underneath the pillow, propping them up so well. Somebody still is going to have their hands on the baby just so that they do not go rolling forward, but basically you're looking for a flatter surface just like this. Depending on how pretty the light is in the area that you're photographing, you might just only need, in this case, to bring the other side of the blanket up to create your sweep from here. Or what you can do is you can twist the entire pillow that you have sideways. If you are brave enough to do the first position naked, then this is an easy transition because you don't have to worry about taking the diaper off. Worst case scenario, if you're in this position and the baby is nice and sleepy, this is where you sort of start loosening the diaper. And again, somebody's holding head and calm while somebody else is doing and taking the diaper off backwards. What you're going to be doing there is you are going to be doing a roll. So you are going to just roll the baby sideways, and it should be very easy because the butt is going down, the feet are going sideways, and the head still has some sort of semblance of being propped up by one of the arms when you do this roll. What you're going to do is you're going to take your towel that you had rolled up from before, and you're going to go under the blanket but over the pillow again, so that you are adding just a nice little bit of a bump here. And depending on where your baby needs support, it could be more behind or more in front. So you're going to roll it just a little bit. And as you're doing this, again, stretch your blanket so that it's nice and smooth. Some babies are more sensitive on their arms and some babies are more sensitive on their legs. So you're going to know instinctively which one you can move first based on his sensitivities. I typically will do the legs first. They tend to be less of a sore point. But with an older newborn, it could be anywhere just because as they're gaining focus over their muscle strength and movements, it could be in either direction. What I would do is I would cross the legs. So top leg over the top and bent. Then you're gonna bring this whole butt and squish forward like you're making a C, like you're bringing the legs and head together. Then what I would do is I would again bring these hands underneath the chin with the head being sideways. If you're not really sure of how it's going or if we're fussing a lot in between, you do lots and lots and lots and lots of rocking until the baby is calm and doing that calm breathing again. And then when the baby is calm enough and doing that really awesome in and out breathing, then you can do the next movement. With the hands, you want to keep supporting the neck and you can go underneath the cheek at the jawbone again. So you're kind of pressing right here and then you can put and move the hands as you will.